blockbusters, babes, 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 binging blockbusters, babes, 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 binging blockbusters, babes, 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 binging blockbusters. Prepare to be binged, blockbusters.
What's up, Blockbuster babes? The babes are back, binging blockbusters. I'm Roxanne.
I'm Vic.
I'm Nadia.
And together, we're the babes. With you, of course.
Exactly. Of course. We're back, guys. New series. We're now watching movies instead of reading books.
We're actually binging
We're binging blockbusters.
Films. Blockbusters, not movies.
It's the BBBB. Welcome.
Sorry, what's the last B? Because I've noticed you've been writing 4 Bs, but I'm saying 3
We're
Bs.
doing blockbusters, blockbuster
Oh,
dash, but it's 2 Bs.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
just for
okay.
like continuity of BRBBC.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
BBBB.
Got it.
Sounds
BBBB.
But yeah, so BRBBC was totally 2022, so we moved on to 2023 where we're going to be binging blockbusters.
Heck yeah.
In case you're new. If you are new, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Two Girls Being Bros, also on Twitter and TikTok, Two Girls Being Bros _ on Instagram.
Heck yeah.
But yeah.
Sometimes 3 bros.
You never know. That's the evolution of the bros. You know, there's many, the multiple, one, none.
And like last video or next video? There was way more than 2 girls being
Oh my
bros.
god, there's at least 4
At
bros.
least.
Yeah.
So we like to keep you guys on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shall we begin?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
All
Should I
right.
go? Okay. So the first month's pick was mine, and I chose the movie Interstellar. Sorry, the film.
Yeah.
Interstellar, because it's one of my favorites, and these ladies have never seen it, so I had to force them to watch it.
Yeah.
So now we'll figure out what their true thoughts are. We have not discussed this yet, but be gentle with my feelings. Just kidding. No, you gotta rip into me if you hated it.
Oh.
But, yeah. So I don't know if you've seen the movie or not. I would highly recommend you watch it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to read the synopsis?
Yes.
Give the
we will do
people
that.
a sneak peek just so we're all on the same page.
I think we're probably the only 2 who haven't seen this movie.
Really?
No, I've spoken to so many people. I'm like,
Really?
whenever people ask me, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite movie, and then like, no one has seen it ever.
Oh.
I feel like it's such a popular movie.
Yeah.
but people in my circle just don't watch it.
Oh, I really did think it was a blockbuster. So that's
It
why I
is,
just
yeah.
never watched it. So.
And it's not a new movie. Like it's
No.
2014.
Yeah.
Okay. Synopsis. In Earth's future, a global crop blight and second Dust Bowl are slowly rendering the planet uninhabitable. Professor Brand, Michael Caine, a brilliant NASA physicist, is working on plans to save mankind by transporting Earth's population to a new home via a wormhole. But first, Brand must send former NASA pilot Cooper, Matthew McConaughey, and a team of researchers through the wormhole and across the galaxy to find out which of 3 planets could be mankind's new home.
All right. So I had to add that in. Matthew McConaughey.
True. It had to be said. But yeah, space movie, and then I guess ratings.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do we start?
Do you want to start?
Sure, mine is so obvious. Are we doing 5 or 10?
Ooh.
Should we do 10 for movies?
It's 10. It's Rotten Tomatoes is 10, right?
Rotten Tomatoes is a percentage.
Oh.
But like IMDb is 10.
Okay, maybe we should do 10.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 10. I don't know why I act like I have to think about it. 10 out of 10. Love this movie. I love space movies, so maybe like I should say that, because if you don't like space movies, you might not love this. But I just like love the idea of like, I don't know, space exploration, and this one like has an element of like the Earth is ending to it, which I love as well. Love a dystopia, and like, as you know, we're not far from it. So.
Not really a dystopia.
It's kind of the truth. But yeah, I love the plot. Yeah, for me this is very, very plot driven. Characters I'm not very attached to, although many tears were shed. So maybe I am attached to them. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, nice.
Who's next?
go?
Yeah.
So an opposite to you. I hate space movies. I hate like the dystopian. I hate like what's it?
Apocalypse.
Oh my god, apocalyptic.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were saying pop culture.
Like I really dislike that genre. I think that's why I've never watched Interstellar, because I saw it was a space movie and I was
That
like,
makes sense.
no thank you. I just don't like thinking of that stuff. I don't enjoy it. I don't understand it also. It's really hard for me. But that being said, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I'd probably, I'd give it a 7.5.
Okay.
I'd give it a 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah, it pleasantly surprised me. For me, it was quite hard to understand. So like I had to be really clued in when they were talking science, because I was like, whoa. Because also it's not just something I'm interested in or like look into a lot or studied ever. So I kind of got lost when they were like going hardcore talking, gotta go to the black hole, this, that, whatever. I was a bit lost, but yeah, the plot I thought was really good. It did make me cry, so clearly it made me feel something. Maybe I was just having a tough week, but yeah, I was sobbing near the end there.
This is a really good movie.
But yeah, the plot was pretty good. Even that being said, I didn't understand like when it got really technical. Like I did understand genuinely. I got the concept they were trying to test 3 planets and go through the black hole, this, that. Yeah, the ending was very confusing. Not the ending, but like the whole parallel universe. I was like, my brain can't wrap my head around this. But yeah, I thought the plot was really good. We'll get into more details of some of the things that stood out to me that made it really good. It was really, I think, well directed and like well made. But yeah, and the characters were all right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 7, but it's because I'm severely prejudiced against cringe. I found the whole farmer thing so much. The cliche, oh, mother died and father, oh, he's useless. Hate that trope. I really didn't like the random little middle part with, I can't remember their names. The Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey, where they're like talking about love and that whole thing. I was like, what are we doing here?
Come on.
It was so cringe. I was just like, where
her love was on the other planet. He could have been there.
It was just, ugh. And then I also just hate the typical, like, oh, the world's ending, and like one person has to save the day, and it's like, oh, I don't like space movies either. But if they're well done, I'll handle them. I get just so bored with it. It's like, oh, you gotta, like they're all on their computers. I don't care. Why is that 90% of the movie? I don't know. It doesn't add anything to the plot. It was 2 hours and 49 minutes, and we could have comped that down into like a solid 145. Okay. Mm-hmm. I also don't respect movies who are longer than they need to be. Mm-hmm. I like dystopian movies. I can stand with sometimes, but not when they're cringe. And that was just a little too much cringe for me. The whole grandfather thing too. Why was he there? I don't know.
Which grandfather?
To
take care of the kids. Who's gonna take care of the kids?
I don't know.
Goes to space.
Maybe he shouldn't, or bring him with you at that point, But yeah. So overall, still quality-wise, movie, it was fine. Just the cringe was hard for me to digest, and it kind of makes me tune out. So I think that's the worst part about movies for me is I'm really good at tuning them out when it starts getting cringy, but then the cringe part was just too much, and then just too many typical tropes. But yeah, it was a good idea and stuff, so I go with my 7.
Okay,
7
not bad. Thought it would be worse, I'm not gonna lie, so I hope you're not holding back also, I didn't mean to.
Oh no, of course not, no. I just went on a 30-minute tangent how cringe it was, and you guys were like, it was the best part. Like the love? No,
I didn't say that, I agree with that. Whoa. I was really unnecessary.
But yeah, no, because I was like, I hate when they do that. I hate when they have a movie and there's a plot and they just stick in another plot, and I'm like, what are we doing here? So that's why, for me, that was fair. I was like, if we're saving the world, let's save the damn world and move on,
No time for love.
No. Bro, are you kidding me? If I'm in a space shuttle, my kid's aging beyond my comprehension, and I'm just sitting there, one guy died, and I'm like, yeah, but my soulmate. I'm like, let's get a move on,
Well, she was right, because I guess like the next part that we had here was plus. That's not plus, right? Just we can just get into it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, she was right because wasn't it like they didn't have enough resources to go to both remaining planets, so they were trying to decide which one to go to, and like people had been sent to these planets before, and like they were emitting data based on like what they saw there, and so the planet with Anne Hathaway's love had like he had stopped emitting data a while ago, and like the other guy was still emitting data, so like obviously it made sense to go to the other guy. But the other guy ended up being like an evil man, so like Anne Hathaway was right the whole time.
Yeah.
Her man was
So
trustworthy.
always follow the heart.
Yeah. Moral of the story.
Yeah.
Love prevails.
Even though he was dead
Yeah.
and not alive.
He was dead, but his planet was good, so
Yeah.
he never lied.
But yeah, I think the first thing that confused me at the beginning, and I didn't get like until like probably halfway, was like what time period this movie was set in.
Yeah.
Because it's such like the whole farming thing. I was like, this feels like it takes place in the 40s or something. But then I was like, because of all like the future stuff, I'm like, I think this is supposed to be like the future.
Yeah, it was set in like 2070 or something. But
I don't know the year, but
either which way, I thought it was today. Like in the moment when it came out, 2014, it felt like 2014. There was nothing about it that was like,
Yeah.
and I don't know, they're like, humanity's ending, and they all looked fine. Give me someone to shovel.
They were coughing. The baby died. The baby died.
Matthew McConaughey was fine.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? So I was like, I need a little more dishevelment. Even the grandfather looked in peak condition. We need to have some sort of like, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Like they didn't make. I don't feel like they made that obvious enough.
In the beginning?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I didn't get like. I was like, it's dusty, but it's like, oh, that's normal, and like I don't know, Carolina, I don't know, wherever this takes place. You know what I mean? I didn't get that this was like, the world was ending. Like it didn't make any sense that I didn't get that the world was ending. I thought they were just like preemptively doing it for the future for their kids. So you know what I mean? Like I thought it was either like back in the day or like present day sort of thing. And like too, they made a comment. It just hit me now when he does the parent teacher interview at the school. And they're like, oh, we're not teaching about the moon landing because of like the Soviets, and I was,
That was weird.
and then I'm like, so that made me think it was like whatever in like the 90s or like whatever, whenever the whole like Cold War was on. So it didn't make sense why they would make that comment if this is so much in the future. Like I think they're moved past that.
Yeah,
But
that was
because
a weird comment.
It's because they shut down NASA. So they were trying to like use the excuse that like we put all this funding into this thing and turns out it was all fake. So that's what they used to shut it down.
Yeah, and then like when he went to NASA, it was like a secret operation, like because the public wouldn't support NASA anymore.
Yeah. So I think they like blamed. So I think like in the future they're like instead of looking, what was it? Instead of exploring other worlds, it's like we need to focus on this one. So it was like they turned against NASA and were like, stop funding them, start putting the money towards our planet.
That makes sense, but it doesn't make sense because like if this is in the future, we're like they already passed this time period where we're like fine with NASA and we're like not. And like the fact that you just use the Soviets as a.
But like in our time, like in our timeline, we don't like know that not the moon landing was like a fake thing.
Yeah, like something could come out now. Like if they started, if something like came out in like 2040,
got it,
and they were like, turns out it was all fake. Then in 2070, they all know the truth.
NASA.
Yeah,
because of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it was just really like confused. Like that threw me off, and I was like, what is this taking? Is this present day? And then like, I don't know. Maybe they should
have made it more obvious. Maybe that it was the future.
I knew that it was going to be a confusing movie, so I like read the synopsis before, so that's why I got it all. Like that's what it. So then like when I watched it, made more sense, or whatever. But yeah, I could totally see that. Like in the moment, you're kind of like,
and like the dust storms are normal, aren't they? Like maybe not that intense, but like
sandstorms.
Have you ever heard of a haboob?
No.
I thought it was fake. Apparently, haboobs are like dust storms, like kind of.
in sandy places. Of course.
Like it's like a normal thing that happens in the desert, but like this was like to the extreme. Yeah. So.
Okay. I could see that. I could see that, like, for me, I didn't believe that it was so far in the future and that we were on, like, the brink of extinction. It just kind of felt like we were desperate in that moment, you know? So I think that's what I wish, you know, some more, like, dishevelment, I guess. And, like, you could keep the sand, but more dishevelment. Like, show me, like, I get they're, like, coughing or whatever, but, like, give me a little more.
Make
you know?
it a little worse.
Some wheezing. I don't know, you know?
Oh, yeah.
They're playing baseball. Clearly the coughing wasn't that bad. So...
Yeah, or like I wish they had like put the year, you know, just like at the beginning. Like there was none of that.
And I do feel like the filter they used on it was more to make it look like the past than the future.
I agree with that.
That's I was so thrown off.
Okay, what are your thoughts on like the big thing at the end where so throughout the whole movie like Matthew McConaughey's daughter is like seeing books fall off the shelf and like all sorts of codes coming from this bookshelf in their house, and like there's a code from like when they had the sandstorm, like there was like a code made by the sand, like line dot dot whatever, and then like in the end it turns out that it was like Matthew McConaughey from the future the whole time. And like he was trying to communicate with her and like his past self, like telling him not to go into space because he ends up like trapped in this like parallel universe thing in the black hole. What are your thoughts on that?
I personally didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
That it was him. So.
Of course not, because it's stupid. I like brushed over that completely. I like saw it, I was like,
I love that part. That like made the whole movie for me.
really?
Yeah, like
I'm
the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, no way. You know, and that made me cry like so much because I was like, oh, like he was right there telling her, like not telling her to tell him not to go, and like it's the father-daughter connection.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming, so like I was like, it makes sense now. But like at that point, I was so confused. I was like, why is there a million bookshelves? Like, how is he in the middle of space, but in like a thing of like I was trying to process that, so that didn't make me cry that part. But I was just like, what's going on? I was trying to comprehend this, but I did like that it was him.
It is a hard movie to watch on your own. Like that's the thing. I was like, what's going on? So I feel like if we maybe all three of us sat together to watch, or even if I had someone else, maybe it would make more sense. But
yeah, it helps to like talk out. Like, what do you think is going on?
It's a little bit blind there.
Yeah.
But no, I did like it too, because then like when he says stay, it's him out of desperation. It's not like him. You know what I mean? Like like when he says like stay, it's him like reliving the moment, being like, don't go, spend time with your daughter. It wasn't him like saying just like stay. You know, that was part of that like desperation, and him setting the actual code in the watch was like him actually wanting to do it. So I got really liked that to it.
Yeah, the code in the watch is so cool too, because then like his daughter is the one that like goes on to save everyone on Earth, and like I love that part. And he goes, and eventually like he goes to this space station where like everyone from Earth has been transported to, and like everyone is living, and it's named like his last name is Cooper. It's the space station's named Cooper, and he's like, oh, you named it after me? What a dummy.
Yeah. And like in the end how he's reunited with his daughter. Yeah. And his daughter ends up being older than him. That's where I saw that part. But I liked how he finally like saw her in the end.
Yeah. And she had like a whole family of her own and her kids. That was very cute.
Again, like I don't know anything about space. Sorry, do anything to say?
no, it was just I found all these things like typical. Like the whole movie felt I felt like there's two emotions that I felt. Extremely far-fetched, and then just like cliche classic tropes, you know? So I think that was for me where it was like at one point I'm just like, what's going on? And the next minute I'm like, really? Really, people? So I think that's where I just hovered between those two emotions. I was never really like, oh, I feel like this all makes sense. So
yeah. Okay.
I was also gonna say, I don't know much about space, but I feel like he should have been dead multiple times.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like I get, like that's one thing I think that bothers me in movies, but even though I get that they're fake and like whatever, the whole point is that they like whatever live to keep going with the film and whatnot, and it's like not real. So that's why they keep it like, but I feel like I should have been gone a couple of times too many there, but anyways.
Yeah, the like one part that comes to mind for that is like the huge wave.
Yeah.
Like that should have killed them all for sure. They escaped, so.
Yeah. Except that one guy who his name.
I'm sorry, that guy like could have ran onto the spaceship, whatever, like, what's it called? A rocket ship? What's it called?
Shut up.
damn, there actually is a word for it. The like space station, no? Don't they call it a space
Isn't that the thing that's in space where you dock?
Maybe.
Or what about the thing that moves? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the shuttle. Yeah.
The shuttle. He like could have ran on it and he was just standing there in the water like waiting for this girl, but like this girl was being saved by a robot, like go on the shuttle, like he had so much time and he died. I was so mad.
A fool.
Dummy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Even with that, like too far-fetched to believe. You know, I was like, there's no way that this man would be standing there instead of running to safety.
If I see a wave that big, like I'm like accepting my fate and I'm like running as hard as I can. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sitting around staring at the giant wave so to annihilate me.
Yeah. No.
You know?
Not a million years.
Yeah. But okay, I don't know you guys, but I feel like a lot of these characters were like so like kind of disregarded and like underdeveloped.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't even tell you any other person's name other than Cooper and Murph. Like I couldn't tell you one name of any of the other people there. I don't even know the female. Maybe actually Brown. Brown was her name, right? Okay, so I know 3. That's it. Like I have no clue what the other 2 scientists' name were. I felt like the one that got taken up by the wave. Yeah. Like, he was kind of pinned to be like the one against them, like questioning them what they were doing, and then they just knock him out. So it's like, okay, there you go. There's the one person that, you know, that you need that whatever opposing force gone. Yeah. Like, so we didn't even get to see him. When they killed off the other scientist and then explosion, it's like he barely had screen time, and I was like, what's the point of like bringing it up? And then they kept like playing like they were gonna like learn more about him. And then they just, you know what I mean? I felt like that was like with a lot of characters, even with Brown. Mm-hmm. Like, she was the main character, like one of the 3 main characters. It's like him, her, and then Murph are like the 3 main ones, right? And her dad, the scientist man. Again, but like, so Brown's one of the main characters. I feel like we learned nothing about her. Like, we had, like, and it would have been fine, but then again, like, they were trying, like, that whole scene with, like, she was like, oh, I'm in love. And I was like, it's random because we're not even paying attention.
We don't know anything about her.
And all of a sudden she's giving this like spiel, and it's like, well, we don't know you. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, she was the main character, barely touched on her.
No, for sure.
Like, I don't know, like, the son of Cooper, like, I get, like, he's supposed to be the opposing force on Earth for Murph. Yeah. But it's, again, like, I don't know his name, we barely touched upon him. Like, when he got so mad and, like, that he was, like, gonna, like, they're, like, setting up the whole scene, like, he's gonna come and, like, attack Murph after she lit the fire. Mm-hmm. And it's, like, where did that even come from? Like, we don't even know him enough to know that he's, like, that mad and that aggressive. You know, they didn't develop, and I feel like they really locked in, like, the character section.
Yeah.
Like, like, they're strong in the plot and, like, the how it was directed and made, but, like, the characters, like, they all felt, like, half developed, and then they just got rid of them.
Yeah. I felt like they were just there, and then it was just, like, and then we moved on with it, and I was like, what are we doing here?
Well,
sorry, you go?
No, it's okay.
No, I was just gonna say, I was like, like, I literally only remember the names by the actors, minus Murph, because that's it. That made me laugh.
I really... Murph, the name. Murph, I feel like, I agree with you, like, the characters were underdeveloped. But, like, I do feel like they're literally just there to drive the plot. Like, it was, like, it doesn't really matter, like, who they were. Like, you were just supposed to feel like, oh, like, this dad came back older than his daughter, like, and that's so sad. Like, it's less so, like, oh, this dad is, like, an amazing dad, and, like, this daughter. Like, I mean... I think Murph was, like, well-developed, because she was, like, this, like, smart kid, like, from, like, childhood, and then she grew up to be, like, you know, to save the world and stuff. I also love that it's a woman, and not her dad. But, but yeah, like, I agree. Like, it literally feels like they were just there to, like, drive this plot, which is an amazing plot, in my opinion, but, like, the characters... I don't know, maybe it would have been way too long of a movie if they had...
Bro, they already made it 2 hours, 49 minutes. Why? Like, how did they not how did they not budget for any character development? Or not even just, like, development, but just, like, showing that, like, these people are still, like, part of... It's hard to explain. It just... I don't know. I was like, babe, if we're making a 2 hour, 49 minute movie, we better make it all make sense, you know?
It's, like, kind of like at the end, too. It's, like... So, like, again, like, Cooper and whatever, Brown, they're supposed to be the main characters. They're supposed to, like, even, like, their relationship, I feel like they didn't touch upon it enough. Like were they friends, were they enemies? And at the end, when he literally, like, escapes the planet to go basically find her, was what, whatever, I think that's what the ending was saying, right? It's like, I was like, are they even that close that you would literally like do that? Like I didn't even like know if they like reached that level of like closeness. Like they didn't like, I feel like they didn't get to like a development point enough in the relationships between people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I do think like, sorry, just like to defend it.
Yeah, of course.
But like, yeah, I do think like complex plot, and they just spent time explaining what was going on rather than like building relationships, which like sucks. Like, because building relationships in a movie is like so, it's like one of the best parts of watching movies. So yeah, I agree, could have been better.
Yeah. Also, Matthew McConaughey doesn't fit the role. I'm sorry, I had to say it. And same with Anne Hathaway. She had
Anne Hathaway is a huge space girl. Like, she did the other one too.
Yeah, but like she doesn't have the look. She doesn't like, and especially she had her Les Miserables hair, and I was like,
yeah, I know.
Like, how am I supposed to unsee Anne Hathaway from Les Miserables? Like,
I liked her short hair for the space. It's like practical, you know, like you don't have a shower then.
Maybe, but I feel like it was too unkept, you know. But then Matthew McConaughey's hair was perfectly gelled the whole time, and I was like, get a grip, people. But yeah, so I don't know. He looks too southern to be.
Like a southern.
Yes.
He's a farmer. An engineer turned farmer.
My thoughts exactly. But I want to believe that this guy was an engineer turned farmer, not farmer turned engineer turned farmer. And that's the vibe I got from Matthew McConaughey. So.
Another plot thing that I just thought of this. That again, like, I don't know if it was just hard for me to grasp, was this whole like evil doctor scientist thing.
Oh.
Like, I was just so confused of why he when he started like fighting with that guy, I was like, I don't know, it took me a while. Like, it was really confusing why he was fighting, and I was like, oh, he's like bad, but I was like, what's the point of killing him here? There's 4 of you. Like, I don't know, I just got so confused at that like thing, and then I got that he was gonna try to take his own spaceship and blow up the other guy. But like for like a hot 5 minutes there, I was like, huh?
Yeah, that was a weird plot twist. Like,
but I guess the one thing I did see coming was that she failed at the ocean world, and then I was like, oh, they choose this world instead of her love's world. He's gonna fail at this one. I thought that like he's like, you know what I mean? Like, she failed once, he's gonna fail once. So I knew that planet was gonna be a dud.
Yeah,
I caught that. I got you.
Yeah,
I knew it. I saw it. I saw it.
I saw right through it.
Yeah.
Nothing has passed you.
Yeah, the one part that got me was when he came to Ocean World. He came back from Ocean World, and then they had, and because obviously in Ocean World there's years, and they had their mistake and blah blah blah. So I think 23 years or something had passed, or more, I don't know, whatever. And then he had all the tapes of the videos of his kids growing up. That got me.
That was really sad. Yeah, that, I love the part, like I love the concept of like time being different in different places. So that part I really liked, because it's like, oh, they were there for like 40 minutes or something, and like, yeah, like 23 years had gone by on Earth, so like his kids were grown up, like he had grandchildren, like all this stuff, and like that's why he was like he was trying to get out of there so quick, because he just like knew this would happen. He didn't want to, like, he wanted to return to Earth. Which, sorry.
No worries.
Do you have anything to say about that?
No.
Okay. Which, like, then they found out later that, like, the old Professor Brown, so Anne Hathaway's dad, who had, like, come up with this whole mission, he had, like, pitched Plan A and Plan B to them, where Plan A was, like, you guys find a planet that is suitable for us to go to, and then we take everyone from Earth and go there. And Plan B was, if you can't take everyone from Earth to this new planet, like, colonize this new planet with like embryos that they had like pre-made. And so like obviously Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, everyone on that ship had like wanted to do Plan A, because that means they could go back to Earth and see their families and stuff. But when the old man, Anne Hathaway's dad, dies, he says that he tells Murph on Earth that Plan A was never his intention, and like he knew it wouldn't be possible, so it was always Plan B, and he kind of lied to these people like who had risked their lives to go and like try to make Plan A happen. So that was pretty shady.
Yeah.
produced and like that.
I don't know, the part about Matthew McConaughey crying at the videos, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel his emotion coming through. So for me, I was like, this is fake crying. So
is that a reflection on Matthew McConaughey or on the character?
Matthew McConaughey, his acting ability, unfortunately, it's a problem. You know?
Like, isn't he a rom-com guy? Like, he's in a bunch.
Yeah, and he's good in those. Like, I can see that he was the character then.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't know. I think that's why I wasn't able to see it or visualize it, so maybe that's why I was having a hard time with this movie. But because for me, it's like I hate knowing that actors are acting in the movie, because then like I'm just watching the movie and I'm like, I just feel so disconnected. I'm like, even if the plot was good, like the rest, like the movie's bad, you know, because it's like, what's the point? Like the whole point is to bring a plot to life and to like make you kind of feel like you're part of like this world. But then when you know that they're acting, it's just like, what are we doing here? You know? So that was, I think, for me. I think that's just everything that like I tuned out half the plot because of that. I was like, because I was just like, this is a movie, you know? But I like the movies where like you're like, oh, you know, like you notice everything because like you feel like you're a part of it, you know? So
yeah,
those are my overall thoughts.
But one thing that helped me so much with this movie, I think it's a huge part of why I give it a 7, like a huge chunk.
You gave it a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Yeah. Well, that's even more so why. And a thing that helped me with like feeling the emotion and stuff like that. And I think this is what I tend to like in movies, is how, I don't know what the right terminology is, but like how they're like direct, like the whole thing, like the direction, the like cinematography, the production, like the music they choose at the parts and stuff like that. Like that is something I really, really look for. Like that, and like how a movie looks is like my main criteria. So like if I list all my movies that I like, it's not really about the plot per se or like the character.
What? That's crazy.
It's more of how they look and how that's like, to me, is like the most important thing in a movie. Which, whatever, call it as
the Kingsman's wearing, but a snapback or
no, not the wardrobe. I mean like how it is, like the location, the whatever. You know what I mean? Like how it's produced, the vibes, like basically like the vibe. Like that's like the most important thing.
This later.
But yeah, so this movie I felt like hit the nail on the head, and like mainly with like, well, not so much like this, whatever, the sets and stuff, it's space, it's CGI, whatever, but more so like the soundtrack and oh my god, when he goes into space and he crosses the earth to space and the music cuts and it's dead silence.
Yes.
Oh my god, chills. Like that, to me, I was like, amazing. Like whoever directed that, like knew, or produced, I'm not sure, both, whatever, I was like, that, incredible. The soundtrack also incredible.
Oh, like Hans Zimmer, who has done like every famous soundtrack.
I never knew that song was from Interstellar. I heard it on TikTok song, and I was like, I heard it and I was like, oh my god, it's this song. But yeah, like the cinematography, like helped me. Like when I forget what music was playing when like the scene of him crying watching the videos was, but like I think that's what made me emotional too, is hearing that whatever the background music with that. Like for me, I'm a very like music. Very oriented of how like it's feeling and vibes, and like 100%. This movie and why I gave it 7.5 is mainly like for that. Like I enjoyed that, like the soundtrack, the lack of like if you can like when I watch a movie, I pay attention to the background. Like I notice the silence every time it happens, like and it's perfectly timed. Like that for me is why it's probably like honestly like a 5.5 of just that, and like the 2.5 is for the plot, you know what I mean? Like that to me was so important. And like I felt like they nailed that. Like I'll never get over that, just dead silence.
Yeah, in space. Like, that was so sick.
Like that to me, like I love that. I don't know how you guys, like how the importance that is to you, but like that's so important.
I appreciate it. I mean, it makes a big difference in the quality of the film. But for me, it was just like how heavy, how unbalanced it was. It's like it doesn't matter how good like the rest of the production is. If like I don't feel like I'm in that world with them, there's just that disconnect where it's like you could have like the most beautiful soundtrack ever, and it's just like that little like you know. So, but
I'm the same as you, Victory. Like love the music, chills, just like all the way throughout, and you notice like at the beginning, like it's amazing when they're in space, like it's like it just like heightens every emotion. Yeah.
And then they reused the same song too at different parts, like in the parallel of that. Like I like, oh, I love that stuff. So that's why I really appreciated it. Yeah.
And very well produced and directed. And this director, I don't know if he's problematic, because I know a lot of directors recently have been. I don't think he is. Christopher Nolan, but he's done like all of my favorite movies are Christopher Nolan movies, and like just something about how like I think it's like his ideas, like he always has like such a cool idea for a movie, and the execution is like perfect every time. Like it's not like, I hate when you watch a movie and it's like great idea, horrible execution, it just like makes it like tough to watch. Like for him it's like, I find it's a great idea, great execution. Inception, Dark Knight, Memento, all like very, very cool ideas. If you guys haven't seen them, like maybe you won't like them, I don't know. But like so well done in my opinion. So
yeah, you could tell. So I'm pretty sure this won a bunch of Oscars back in the day when it came out, and I can tell why. Like I think it was very well produced, directed, and like since it's a space movie, a lot of it's CGI and stuff like that. And you could tell that obviously you know it's CGI because like you can't film in space obviously, but I don't think it was like horrible. Like it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't like, ugh, that looks super bad, like super fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you still know it's fake, but I thought it was like pretty good.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can tell why this is an Oscar-nominated film.
Yeah.
And one probably.
Probably. I don't know. You'd be surprised. It did win an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. There you go.
And for that time too. I mean, like it's not like it's like 2000, but it's like 2013. It's like what? It's 10 years ago almost. Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
nominated for 5 awards and received one Best Visual Effects and received numerous other accolades.
Checks out.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's it for Interstellar.
That was a good one to start it off.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys kind of agree.
That's always like the scariest thing, is sharing like your favorite thing or song or
but
whatever.
I like, even if you guys hated it, like
it's
still
like,
such a good talk,
it's not,
so,
and it's not gonna change your opinion on it.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah. That was fun. Yeah, fun. First episode of BBBB in the hash. Yeah, guys, it's me for February. Oh, there's so many directions we can go. I have a couple listed that I will be doing throughout the year. Okay, you know what? We'll stay kind of on theme with the favorite pictures. But my first one will be, I'm gonna make you guys do, I don't know if you have, I don't think you have it, but Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is gonna be my pick.
The first one?
The first one,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I have to pick the first one, I can't.
Well, no, you can pick a different one. I'll catch up. Like, I'll watch all of them.
Yeah, but that's not, it's okay. I don't want to do that. We're gonna do Harry Potter number 1, guys. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So go watch it if you haven't already. Guys, we're gonna journey down Harry Potter Lane. One of my faves.
Diagon Alley.
Yeah. You know, you're ready.
Yeah. You can tell I haven't watched any of the movies, read any of the books.
Fun.
For anyone who hasn't watched it yet, this is the gist of it. Yeah, I think I maybe have watched like the first 10 minutes of the first one, and then our internet cut out. And then I never watched it again because then he watched on his own. Like I've seen bits and pieces here and there because they used to play on like CBC or whatever, but like I've never watched a full movie and start to finish. I don't even know which ones.
Adaptation of the first J.K. Rowling's popular children's novels about Harry Potter, a boy who learns on his 11th birthday that he is the orphan son of 2 powerful wizards and possesses unique magical powers of his own. He is summoned from his life as an unwanted child to become a student at Hogwarts, an English boarding school for wizards. There he meets several friends who become his closest allies and help him discover the truth of his parents' mysterious deaths. Dun, dun, dun. I'm very excited to get in the world of Harry Potter. I'm the biggest Harry Potter nerd, and it's still in there. So I'm excited. So stay tuned and make sure to subscribe to watch next month's. And make sure you watch the video. The movie as well. The film.
The blockbuster.
The blockbuster. So you can talk with us and leave your opinions. Yeah, but make sure to leave your opinions, your ratings on your thoughts on Interstellar in the comments below. Let us know what you thought. And yeah, I think with that, that's a wrap. Yep.
Finn.
Oh!
Did you go babes out?
Babes out!
Babes.
Babes
out. Oh, wait,
out.
wait.
Babes out.